Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Cosmic Vibes. Now, listen up, you guys. For those of you who know that I go on live right here on YouTube, the next live that I'm going to be offering free clairvoyant psychic readings, mark your calendars, is Friday, October the 24th at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, or 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to ask me a question, by all means, make sure you're right here with me. Set your clocks and your dials and join me and ask me a question. Okay. If you do want to book a private reading where I do give a lot of details and so on, soulworkwithjenny.com. So let's begin on this week's Cosmic Vibes. What's coming up? The 11th to the 17th. You know, that 10th, for those of you who go back and watch it, that was a huge portal day, huge manifesting, even more so. You know, like every day we can manifest, every opportunity, every second. So don't hold back from manifesting ever. You know, there's certain days that are more powerful. There's certain days where we can, you know what, I'm going to manifest that. I'm going to make this happen, and so on and so on and so on. Keep doing that. Like just keep doing it and writing it down, because this weekend, especially, you're going to want to slow down a little bit. You know, some of you have been on the go dealing with things, doing this and doing that, and you could be like, wow, you know, I need a little space for myself. I need a little space for me. I think this weekend is Thanksgiving in Canada. I think so. Um, I don't know. I can't remember. I really do feel it is. So for those of you who are having a happy Thanksgiving, you know, it's all about gratitude. It's all about being thankful for things, even the littlest things. And I just want to say thank you for those of you who reached out. My mom passed away on October the 5th. And I just want to, you know, like I'm so grateful for all of you who reached out with love and support. It really, really means a lot. Like it really, really meant a lot. So thank you. I'm very, very thankful for each and every one of you. You know, and as I've always mentioned, don't ever take, you know, people or situations for granted. You know, life is too short. You know, my mom was 94, mind you, so it's not like she was younger. So I knew it was coming for a while, and so on and so on. But even still, you know what I mean? When there's certain things that you want to say to someone, say it. You know, forgiveness is so important, so important. You know, whenever there's a lot of anger and all of this with people and situations, it's really, you know, it's to your best interest just to sit back and really forgive that person within. If you can't say it to their face for whatever reason, acknowledge what you learned from it. You know, we all have our own journey and our own path, you know, and it's really important to try to let it go as much as possible. What happened? What did you learn? All of that. So you can move on with more peace in your mind, you know, because if you hold on to it, the anger, it can create the body to go off alignment in many different ways. You know, like stress affects us all. It's the number one killer out there, stress. You know, stress can cause problems in the body with so many different things. So this is the time this weekend you're going to be really wanting to slow down, because there's going to be a lot more truth coming out, even more. I mean, I always say that, right? Because it's just going to continue. You know, no one can run from secrets and lies and karma and all of that. So just really pay attention to what you're being told, to what you're hearing, because you could get triggered. You know, sometimes when we hear the truth of a situation, we're like, oh, you know, but it's important to face it. You don't have to get involved with it, but it's really important to acknowledge it and then really see where you're at and really see what direction you want to go. You know, that eclipse season, it brought a lot. It was life changing, like life changing. So I'm sure that you all have been through something more major in your life with different situations. Look now, especially what did you guys go through? August 24th, it started and it ended officially on the 6th. Expect the unexpected energy. Look, my mom passed away on the 5th of October. I wasn't surprised, but certain things like that will happen. Just expect the unexpected at any given time with anything. So when certain things happen, pay attention, like just really pay attention. And this weekend, what you were struggling with, you could find that you're going to get things back on track. It's like, you know what? Boy, I've had to deal with this and that. Now I just want to get things back on track, things caught up with. Maybe it was chores you were behind, and maybe it was book work, maybe like whatever it is. Just really take time to yourself. I'll turn my phone on mute, or a lot of the times, and I still get messages, and then I always get back to people, of course, when I can. Sometimes we just need that space and time to ourselves. You can really reset this weekend. I mean, we can reset our life at any time we're ready to, of course, and sometimes certain events pushes us in that corner to like, hello, you got to make changes here. You got to do this and you got to do that. So this can be kind of that awakening type weekend for you. So as we move into the 13th and 14th, things are going to be feeling a little bit more balanced because we have Venus that's entering Libra. Venus energy, relationships. Libra likes that balance with things. So when things are not in balance, this is when we're going to be like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? Like, I gotta like resolve this. I gotta fix this. So you're going to find as well with the Venus, you're going to be more compassionate. You're going to be more understanding. You're going to open up a lot more. But make sure when you're opening up and you're having these conversations, look within your heart, speak from your soul. Very important. Very important. We get upset, rah, rah, rah. We can speak more from our ego, and that's not going to get you anywhere. That's going to cause more problems. So that's where the kilt and the balance can go off. Because we have Pluto that's going to direct as well this weekend. So you are going to want to, you know what, I just got to resolve this situation, especially around relationships more, with that Venus energy. There's going to be certain things of, you know what, I've been talking about this for a long time, or trying to get my point across with this, and that. Nobody's getting it. Like, you're not getting it. Or whoever it is, they're not getting it. Speak from your heart, communicate, because this can be a very karmic weekend on the 13th and the 14th as we move into that. Endings with karmic relationships, Venus energy. We all have different karmic relationships. Karmic relationships can be with anybody, family, friends, or partners, business, whoever. So you're going to want to have more things more in alignment. Sorry, this isn't going to work. Maybe we're better as friends, or we're done, right? Like all of that. You're going to know, of course, what person that you're going to want to be more connected with, and certain people that you're like, wow, I'm looking at reality more. I just, this isn't working. So endings can be very hard and painful, but it also opens up new doors. We are in this completion year, universal 9 year, which there's a lot of endings, things are completed at cycle, and so on. Next year, we start in a different energy. I'll talk about that, of course, later on about the energy of the year and so on and so on, right? So it's more focused right now. Like, what is going on right now? What's happened this year? Because the 15th and 16th, you very well could be letting go a lot more with situations around you with people. I'm not getting involved with that. I'm not getting involved with their drama. I'm just not. Why would you? Unless you have to resolve it. You can't run from things, because when we run from things, it can catch up and knock you bang, boom, right down on the floor just as quick, right? Of course. The universe is like, okay, these things are not working or these things are out of alignment. We want to get your attention here because you need help with this, especially medically. There's a lot of different medical situations that are going on, of course. This is the time to deal with it, to resolve things, to get the help. And don't ignore it. Don't ignore it, right? Like, goodness, don't even get me going on that. So, certain things that you're resolving, what happens? What happens when you resolve things? It ends. It's over with. You can move on. When you run from things, I don't want to deal with that. What happens? Don't matter where you are, it follows you. You're also going to see on the 15th and 16th that you're going to see your worth more. It could be in relationships as well. Keep in mind, because we have Venus, but seeing your worth more could be with your work as well. Wow, I don't deserve this, or I'm not making any money anymore. It's just not going to work for me. I deserve better than this. I deserve better than that. I don't need to get treated this way. All of those things, self-love, self-care is really, really important. Really look back into 2017. What was going on that year? The entire year is ending now. What did you guys start in 2017? Maybe you got married, maybe you're getting a divorce, major things like that. And maybe this time, since you've gotten divorced, maybe you're getting married or maybe you've met your person, right? Certain cycles that we've ended back in 2017 could start in a beautiful new way right now, or certain things that we wanted to get going, we could see the ending now because the spirit world's like, you know what, that's not your person, or that's not your career. This year, it's really showing you, especially with your career, there's a lot of different people that like, you know what, I used to be, like a doctor, let's say, for an example. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to now like go and do this. Or maybe I was a bookkeeper. I don't want to do that anymore. Maybe now I just want to go on a spiritual path. Or my passion was to like whatever it is. So you've been shown this year more of your destiny, more of your soul's calling in the direction. I've been studying all of this for so long, and I was supposed to be a dentist, Jenny, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go now work for the UN and really help different communities and people and all of that. Yes, and be more of service. We can be of service with anything. We all have different skill sets, talents, abilities. Look at your experience. Where was that taking you towards? You're an old soul. This is why I do past life Akashic record readings as well, because it really helps you understand a lot of why you were drawn to certain places with career, relationships, and so on and so on. Helps you get a better understanding of why we're born into certain families and cultures and religions, why we're drawn to this type of a career, like so on and so on. And it helps you resolve situations. The spirit world is very, very much with us to help you, very much so, because what energy you send out there, it comes back. So be very careful with your actions as well. How you treat others, it comes back, and so on and so on, right? Well, that person was really mean and they were really toxic and all of that. Yes. Are you still with them? Are you still hanging out with them? That's the question. Don't judge, just you can move on. We've all had to end relationships, friendships, work, our partners, whoever, because I'm not in alignment with that anymore. It's opposite. I'm now looking for a new start. I'm now looking for a different direction. All of these things, the eclipse brings in life changes and so on and so on. So you're going to see even that more and more and more this week, because on the 17th of October, you're going to be expressing yourself a lot more. So you could be expressing yourself more with your work. You could be expressing yourself more with your creative side. Express from your heart, of course, be authentic. Always be authentic, because when you're not, it won't work with you. You're going to find on the 17th, you're going to want to be more connected with your soul tribe people, people that you really get and understand, who support you in a positive way. There could be some reunions going on with people, you haven't seen for quite some time, friendships, family, anybody, reunions where it's more heart opening, spiritual connections, because you've been letting go. When we let go of the wrong people, the right people come in. And sometimes we reconnect with certain people just for closure as well. And sometimes we reconnect with somebody like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're now single. Woohoo! Like anything can happen, right? Anything. Yeah, we're doing restructuring in our business, and you'd be the perfect fit. Oh my God, I'm actually looking to change my job, or wow, all of that kind of stuff can happen. You know what I mean? In a really good way. But you might find you're going to be a little bit more emotional too, because we are in that Chiron energy, which goes on for a while. But you could get triggered that day on the 17th. Old wounds resurfacing, healing different lifetimes, healing back on sadness, healing back, when somebody's passed on, healing back on relationships, friendships, certain things like that. And whenever you're like, wow, I'm getting more tearful, I'm getting more like emotional, don't run from that. That's your soul bringing more things to the surface of what we still need to heal from, what we still need to work through, and so on. We have to trust the process. I swear to the universe every day, like even I had to go for, ultrasound and x-rays, and oh my God, that didn't go as planned. I can tell you that. I have like vertigo, and wow. Needless to say, the tech had to walk me from the x-ray room to the changing room. I couldn't even walk. I was so out of it and dizzy. I had to get that all dealt with yet too, right? I'd canceled that appointment because my mom passed, and I'm like, great, right? So it's like certain things pay attention to, don't run from it. Really important, really important. You know what I mean? So you should have seen me trying to drive home. I was really dizzy, and I'm like, spirit world, because I had to get home. I couldn't leave my car there. I was only 5 minutes away. Thank God. Spirit, just please get me home. Please have no police officers out there when I'm driving, because I was going really slow, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was literally like that. But anyways, thank you. Thank you, Lord, for getting me home safe and sound. Thank your angels. Your angels are very much with you. Call upon them when you're needed. I'm like, Spirit, like, I need your help right now. The angels to please get me home safe when I'm driving. Because it's just me, right? Like, and I didn't want to crash. I didn't want to crash into anybody, like how stupid. I shouldn't have been driving, but I had no choice. I had no choice. But anyways, I'm just saying, you should not do that. So now let's have a little talk with the spirit world. I'm going to pull a couple of cards. Not everyone, will connect with the cards. Some people do, of course. I never use cards when I'm with a client. I'm clairvoyant. So I read your level of consciousness and so on, and a lot of details for those of you who know me and have booked readings with me, right? But collectively, the YouTube here, we're going to just pull the cards just to see what the energy of the spirit world has to say to you. So let's see what the message is from the 11th to the 17th with Animal Guides Tarot by Radley Valentine. Right there. See what message there is. And I hear a little cat meowing, by the way. Somebody could be getting a kitten. Maybe some of you guys are thinking of getting a kitten. I'm hearing a kitten coming in for some reason. Yeah. 11th to the 17th. What's the message from the spirit world? October 11th to the 17th. What's the message? It's the message. Too many. 11 to the 17th. 11 to the 17th. 11 to the 17th. Here we go. Eight of air, birds. How many of you guys have been seeing birds around? I have, but mind you, I have bird seed and bird feeder, but anyways, birds represent self. Really pay attention to certain birds that come your way, by the way. Bunting. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you greater self-confidence if you affirm your freedom. Yes. See how the other birds are there on the tree, on the branch? They're like, yeah, we're good. And yet, that bird is still stuck in the cage, but the door is open. You know, we can feel confined or trapped and restricted. However, there's always a way out. No, Jenny, there's not. There's always a way out. Open your heart, open your mind. Take a look at what's restricting you, all of those things. We can make different changes at any time. I'm never going to get healed, Jenny. Oh my God. All of those things. It's like one day at a time, one day at a time. Really pay attention, work through it, right? It'll happen. It will happen. You have to have that faith. Have that faith. Really important. Never give up. Dr. Stephen Farmer, we're going to talk to messages from the spirits of nature. It's really important to get in touch with nature as well when you're feeling very off kilt. When you're feeling that, wow, you know what, I just need space and quiet time. Maybe you guys will, go this weekend, get more in touch with nature for walks or whatever. I just need some space and quiet time. I'm just going to go for a walk or whatever. You'll see more clarity with things. It'll help ground you and everything, right? What's the message from the 11th to the 17th? The river flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Water represents our emotions. So you and I very well could be sitting back looking at this river here. You could be very emotional. I could be calm, or vice versa. When you're looking at water, if your emotions are very high, it shows you where you're at when you're looking at water. If it's a lake, a river, an ocean, right? There could be tidal waves and I could be like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And you could be like, oh my God, I'm so scared. So it just kind of shows you what, like your emotions are telling you where you're at, right? Like empaths love water. I mean, I love being around the water and so on, of course, myself, right? Because water is very healing. Water is very soothing. And when you get in touch with it, with nature, where there's water, if there's a lake or a river or, ocean, you'll really feel much better because you're in touch with nature and the water. So maybe some of you are like, maybe I should do that. Start looking at different places in your area, or that's not too far away from you if you're not able to really get away, and just go. Take a couple hours and go, or the day, or however much time you have. You'll notice the difference. You really will. So let's have a chat with the saints and angels of Doreen Virtue. Have a little chat. What's the message here? Message here. 11th to 17th. Message to the 17th. Marriage. Maybe some of you are getting married. Maybe some of you are getting engaged. Marriage also represents commitment. So you very well could be making a commitment to yourself with something, whatever it is. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm really going to commit to this project. I'm really going to commit to my health. I'm really going to make a commitment and, let's say, get an animal. Maybe it's a kitten. I keep seeing this kitten coming around for some reason. I mean, I'm not getting a cat, right? But I keep seeing a kitten for some reason. Maybe some of you are going to get a message from a cat, right? I'm also an animal communicator, so really pay attention. Maybe some of you are going to be like, I'm going to propose to my person this weekend. This is the weekend I'm going to do it. Like anything could happen. right? Marriage is commitment no matter what. Maybe some of you are like, wow, I've been having so many marriage problems. We don't see eye to eye. We have that Venus energy, as I mentioned. Always speak from your heart the truth with your person. Be honest. Oh, but Jenny, if I be honest with them, maybe they're going to end my relationship with me. Well, is that what you want? Two people should be able to talk with each other no matter what. I can't talk to my person. They shut me out. Is that what you want? So this is when you might be like, I can't do this anymore. We have those karmic endings as well with that Venus energy, right? We're better off as friends. Some relationships that end, there's friendships instead. It doesn't always go that way, mind you, but you know what I'm saying? You got to go on your own flow with what resonates with you. So if you guys do want to book a private reading, soulworkwithjenny.com. Make sure you're with me right here live on YouTube, October 24th, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And join me for a free clairvoyant reading. Follow me on Instagram, Jenny G. Cousins. I'll follow you right back. You start following me on Instagram and it's a new account, please let me know that it's you. It's a new account, right? And I have a group on Facebook, Higher Vibes with Jenny G. Cousins. Click to join there, and I will eventually be up. I usually check Facebook every couple of days or so. So I will check into it, and I will sign you up for my group here. It's free. There's a lot of different content in there with certain things that are not out there. So, anyways, happy Thanksgiving. I think it's Thanksgiving weekend. How pathetic. It's been years since I celebrated Thanksgiving. I used to work at the hospice on call. So I'd always say, you know what, book me in all holidays. I'd rather be of service helping other people. So do your own thing. Do your own thing. All right. So namaste, you guys. Let me know how's it going. Please like the video and make some comments. And for goodness sake, subscribe to the channel. Till next week. Namaste. Namaste.